The amount of sugar being added in our food is on the rise each and every year. But the worst part is how addictive it is. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to cut out sugar from your diet. If you saw my last video, you already know how detrimental sugar is to our health. It messes with our hormones, makes us more prone to diseases, and damages our brain cells. But simply knowing sugar is bad for us isn't enough for us to cut it out of our diet because it's extremely addicting. There was a study done on rats called Intense Sweetness Surpasses Cocaine Reward. And that study actually shows that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. While the study was done on rats, not humans, they concluded that most mammals, including humans, come from an environment that didn't have much sugar. Thus, we are not adapted to high concentrations of these sweet compounds. This means our sweet receptors are extremely stimulated from our common sugar-rich diets. And when we consume these sugars, it generates a reward signal in the brain with the potential to override our self-control mechanisms, which leads to addiction. So the question remains, how are we supposed to cut out sugar if we're programmed to keep eating it? Well, that really depends on how much sugar you're currently eating. If you're only having a little bit of sugar in your diet, then you can cold turkey it and just cut it out. But for most people, that's not the case. So tip 1 is to slowly cut out your sugar. Just have that conscious decision to lower your sugar. So let's say you're going to Starbucks, maybe get a few less pumps into that Frappuccino, or don't have as many desserts that week, or lower your juices. Just keep lowering that each week until you feel like you can easily cut out sugar. When you finally take the plunge and cut out sugar from your diet, the first 2 weeks are going to be the hardest. You're pretty much going to crave anything that has sugar in it, but that's just part of the process and you have to know that's going to happen. And after those 2 weeks, you're not going to have any cravings for sugar. I used to be a sugar junkie, but after I did my 2 weeks of detoxing, I would walk by desserts and they wouldn't even look appealing to me. So you just have to power through that first 2 weeks. Tip 2 is to quit sugar with friends or find someone that will hold you accountable. I find that it's way easier to quit things when people are holding me accountable because it's way easier to skip on my own word than skipping my word to someone else. Tip 3 is to eat a big, healthy meal before your hunger kicks in. If you eat a big meal before hunger kicks in, you're going to be full and you're going to be less likely to eat those sugary cravings. But if you wait until your hunger kicks in, then you're going to have a problem. Tip 4 is to get adequate sleep. I'm sure you've noticed that sometimes when you're tired, up late at night, you make some poor decisions. And that's because there are 2 parts of your brain, the parietal lobe and the prefrontal cortex, that are responsible for thinking and distinguishing what's right and what's wrong. Well, when you're sleep deprived, those 2 parts of your brain will get 12 to 14% less glucose, which is going to make it almost impossible to withstand those sugar cravings, because no amount of willpower can withstand the hard wiring of your brain. I know, getting good sleep is a hard thing to do, and if you fall in that category, make sure to check out my other video where I give you all the knowledge you need to take control of your sleep life. And lastly, we have tip 5, which is make sure to do some research when quitting sugar, because a lot of foods actually have sugar that you wouldn't expect them in. I know quitting sugar is really difficult, but using these tips, I know you can overcome it, and I really want to emphasize that last tip. Please do your research and look at all the foods you're actually eating and see what their sugar content is. There's one type of food that I know everyone abuses because they don't think it has sugar in it. So if you want to find out what that food is, click the link in the description and I'll send you the document that will tell you what type of food that is so that you can avoid it and truly quit sugar. I'm glad you guys are taking action and finally quitting sugar. I know your life's going to be way better because of it. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments. And hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next week.